Well, hello friends. Welcome to the Ladybird browser update for August 2024. It has been a beautiful month in the project and we've got a lot of things done. So we're going to jump right into it. But first, I just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. These are our major big sponsors. And we also have a bunch of smaller individual sponsors who are donating. So thank you everybody for sponsoring. And we also want to welcome 3 new sponsors this month. RFs sponsoring with $50,000 and Kling and WorkOS with $10,000 respectively. Kling is a very nice name for a sponsor, I think, for no reason in particular. But yeah, thank you all so much for sponsoring. Okay, so let's talk about August 2024. And I guess we'll look directly at the numbers. So we've had 231 pull requests getting merged from 38 individual contributors. And it's a bit less than last month. Last month was a bit of a frenzy, which is to be expected after you announce a project like this. But things are moving forward at a very nice pace. And the first area that I want to talk about is web platform tests. So we now have a dedicated WPT runner, which means that we have a server that is running the platform tests regularly every day. Previously, we had manual runner where Tim would just kick off a run whenever he was able to. So this is a lot nicer. We're also on the wpt.fyi main area. So this is the dashboard that all the browser projects share, and we are now visible in the main area of that dashboard as well. We have a wpt.sh script for developers to run WPT locally, which is great if you don't want to cause regressions. You can actually test with WPT on your own machine. It is a little bit new, so let us know if you run into trouble with it. And we've also made fantastic progress on WPT correctness or the actual score of WPT this month with over 200,000 new passing tests, which is amazing. But yeah, we still have a long way to go. And we have a lot of timeouts to figure out in particular, because once we figure out some of the timeout bugs that we have in the WPT runner, we are likely to see a massive boost as well. But I don't want to celebrate until we get there. But even so, over 200,000 new passing tests is great for 1 month. And a lot of the passing tests are because we now support more legacy text encodings. So I think it was Ben who implemented a lot of these text encodings, and WPT is heavily weighted towards legacy text encoding support. They have, I think, over 1 million tests that are concerned with this. So it is important whenever you're looking at WPT scores to understand that the majority, I think more than 60% of the WPT score is legacy text encodings. So something to be aware of when you're looking at those scores. Even so, we have been making progress on these encodings because everybody else supports them, so we need to support them too. So really nice work by Ben to bring us forward in this area. And Ben also worked on HarfBuzz for text shaping, which we can see here in the image. This is Arabic text. We're using a third-party library, indeed, that's HarfBuzz, to do complex text shaping. So the OpenType font format tells us what to do, where to place the glyphs, and how to compose them. And that means that we can now do Hebrew, Arabic, and other complex writing systems. We also have code to lay out the text from right to left or left to right, depending on context. But there's a lot of work remaining to be done in this area. Also, I can't actually tell if everything is looking correct in this picture, but I hope it does. Still, this is very nice progress. And this means that we also deleted a lot of our legacy text and font code that we inherited from Serenity OS, and we're now using more of the open source ecosystem around fonts. We're also continuing our adoption of the Skia framework. So the canvas element is now using Skia, and SVG graphics are now using Skia, and CSS borders are now using Skia. And this has led to a huge improvement in both speed and accuracy. So that's really good. But we still have to also start using the GPU for Skia back canvas. That's going to be a major improvement once we get that working as well. Oh, drag and drop, right. So this month, Tim has implemented drag and drop support in a bunch of different ways. So here is a demo of that, using drag and drop on Imager to upload a file, and it just works. Pretty cool. We also have drag and drop working on Google Lens. So here, dragging an image into Google Search by Image, searching the web by image with a drag and drop in Ladybird. Pretty cool. And these were done by Tim. So thank you, Tim, for working on this. And an optimization that we're doing this month, which is pretty cool when you see it. But if you haven't seen how slow it was before, it's hard to appreciate perhaps. But the idea is that the paint commands that we generate, I should say, the way that our painting system works is that when we want to paint a frame, we go through the document as it currently exists, and we figure out what do we want to paint, like a white rectangle here, some red border here, this piece of text there. We make all these little commands that we put into a list of commands called a display list. And then we rasterize those on the GPU and then put that on the screen. So what we learned how to do this month is save these command lists or these display lists so that we can reuse them when you're scrolling. So when you're scrolling up and down on a page, then if nothing about the layout changed, then we can just reuse the display list that we made last time we painted a frame. And this turns out to be pretty common, and it saves us a ton of work and dramatically improves scrolling responsiveness on a lot of pages. And this is just one way of exploiting retained display lists, and there are a lot of future optimizations we can do in this area as well to, for example, get animations to not have to rebuild a new display list for every frame, but rather they could just manipulate the part that animates and then keep everything else. But this month we've only done scrolling without building new display lists, but more to come. And of course, we've implemented a ton of new web APIs as well, just like every month. Here are some of the ones that I saw we did this month. I'm sure there are more that I missed, but yeah, we just keep adding more web APIs, and this is really nice. A ton of people contributed here, and I forget who did what, but this is really nice to see. All right, time for a demo. Let's take a look at Ladybird. So if we bring it up, first thing we're going to do is visit our new sponsors. So rfs.com or ahrefs or arefs, however you say that. Pretty cute reference to the HTML anchor element regardless. So it's an SEO company in Singapore, I believe. And I spent a bunch of time with this website this month, just fixing alignment of these like little SVGs here that are in the text and the menu bar. But there are still some things to do for this website. But we are very, very thankful for the gold sponsorship from RFs. Another sponsor new this month is WorkOS. It's a company that makes tools that allow smaller software companies to sell to enterprises, I think. As I understand it, that's what they do. They sort of allow you, if you're a small software studio, to deal with enterprise customers, which can otherwise be quite a daunting task. So there's supposed to be a WebGL visualization of some type here, but we don't support enough WebGL yet. But on the whole, website is looking pretty okay. So that's WorkOS. And the final new major sponsor this month is Kling.com. No relation, but it actually gets into an error loop here. So I can't show it to you in Ladybird. We have worked on it a bit and found a bunch of the problems, but there are more problems we need to solve. One of the major issues is that we don't support service workers yet. So let me just close that out. But if we visit cling.com in Chrome here, we can see that it's a website that allows you to combine notes, bookmarks, media, and documents into these beautiful sort of horizontally scrolling boards, which is kind of nifty, actually. Yes, well, we need to get this working in Ladybird so that I can really mess around with it. But thank you to cling.com for sponsoring Ladybird. And then I had a bunch of other things I wanted to show you as well. One website that I worked on this month is the Swedish real estate search engine Hemnet. So this thing was not working at the start of the month, but now I've put a bunch of time into it, and I got some help as well. So let's search for a villa in the Stockholm area, and it should work. And we should even load the Google Maps widget here. It is a little bit slow, but that is a known issue. We are mainly concerned with correctness, and we'll see that it does actually load. Very, very cool. We can scroll, and there were a number of layout issues here, in particular with inline SVG content, and we had some grid layout issues as well that Alex fixed. And I think that it was unusably slow at the start of the month, but we actually got that fixed because the issue was that because of JavaScript, we kept querying the current system time zone hundreds of thousands of times when you would scroll. I guess because it's updating some timestamp somewhere, like I don't even know what that would be. But for whatever reason, we were querying the time zone repeatedly, and it was slowing down so much that it was impossible to use the site. And Tim Flynn added a time zone cache. So now it's actually no longer bogged down by time zone lookups, which is really good. Now, there's still some slowdown here when scrolling that we need to look at, but it's night and day. And just testing here that the Google Maps widget is actually interactive, which it is. I guess these are available houses. Wonder if I can click on those. I don't know if that actually works. That might not work yet. Okay, yeah, something to look at. Still, it's pretty cool that we can just run an embedded Google Maps in another website at this point without falling apart. So, let's see. I'm just going to start a new instance here just in case. Something else I worked on was Figma. So we're not able to log into Figma yet because that requires WebGL 2.0, but they do have a big fancy demo on their website, on the landing page here, which takes a while to load because I think our WASM performance is not stellar. Although this is actually taking longer than I'm used to seeing. So let's try that again. It says like something may be corrupt. All right, let's give it one more chance. So the Figma website is supposed to load. And there's supposed to be a big demo where you can see the UI and some funny shapes and stuff. Here we go. Okay, so I think we did get a corrupt download there for some reason. Don't know why that happened. Something to investigate. But we can see this demo here of the Figma UI and all of these shapes animating. This stuff is HTML canvas. And this month I ported our canvas backend to use the Skia rasterizer library. And that makes it actually fast enough that we can see the animation instead of it would just like stutter 1 second per frame or whatever. So this is really cool to see. And I think if we scroll down on the page, we have some other animating things, but there's still a bunch of stuff to do here. Still, Figma is a big website that we obviously want to get working in Ladybird, and it's fun to see what the upcoming performance challenges here are going to be with we want to get our canvas rendering on the GPU, and we're going to need to improve WASM performance substantially for this to run really well. And yeah, that's the Figma website. And then I have a cheat sheet with things I wanted to look at. So let me bring that up. Right, the Guardian. The Guardian now looks pretty dang good in Ladybird, thanks to some CSS grid property parsing fixes. So we had like almost all the building blocks in place for the Guardian to look good. But Adam figured out that if we just implement some more CSS properties in the parser, it will look really, really good. So that's where we are now with the Guardian. Very cool. Thank you, Adam, for fixing the remaining issues. And then this one is particularly cool. If you go to Al Jazeera, we should be able to see. Okay. I'm just gonna do a fresh start here. We should be able to see text in Arabic, which is new this month. We were not able to render Arabic at all in the past. And this month, Ben Jilks worked on integrating HarfBuzz as a text shaping library. So we can now do Arabic text, Hebrew, and other complex scripts. And I can't actually read these languages, so I'm not completely sure that everything is looking right here. I have done visual comparisons side by side using other browsers, and a lot of it looks good. But sometimes things end up in the wrong order, especially if you're mixing like Latin text and Arabic, for example, on the same line. So there are things that we need to improve here. But Ben has been doing a great job on integrating HarfBuzz and bringing us into the right to left parts of the world, which is super cool, and really excited to see this improve going forward as well. And then there was one remaining one, which is this one right here. So I'm just going to copy that. This is an example of CSS position sticky. So Alex implemented sticky positioning this month, and we can see here stuff sort of, oh, hello, stuff sticking to the top when we scroll. So let's scroll. You can see that classic CSS position sticky thing where something sticks to the top. Look at that. Oh. And it performs really, really well because it does retain the display list. If we're scrolling and nothing about the layout changes, then it can reuse the display list, and it just has to manipulate that sticky position element so that it ends up in the right place. But it's a very, very, very inexpensive operation. So we get smooth scrolling here. Very, very good with sticky positioning. All right. So those were the websites that I wanted to highlight here today. All right, now before we go, I want to say a special thank you to everybody who contributed to Ladybird with code this month. These are all the people who committed something to the repository, and it's been really great working with you all. I really appreciate your contributions. It's been beautiful stuff. So thank you, and I hope to see you again next month. Now, thank you as well for coming and checking out this presentation, for staying up to date with the Ladybird project. And if you want to come chat, you'll find us on Discord. And if you would just want to read more about Ladybird, you'll find it on ladybird.org. We are always welcoming new developers. So if you want to work on a browser or a browser engine, come join us. If you want to sponsor the project, go to ladybird.org as well. But yeah, it's been a great month, and we are going to have another great month in September. So I will see you in 1 month to tell you how that went. Bye-bye.